Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Plant-Based Eats. I got a special treat for you today. I'm going to be sharing with you how to make the best kale chips you've ever had, and a large batch at that. So here I've got a big old bowl of freshly picked kale and collards from my backyard garden. I washed it all down with a hose, and now I'm going to run it through the salad spinner. If you don't have this growing yet, I suggest you give it a try. Otherwise, you can use store-bought. Now I'm going to offer you up some really good tips in this video on how to make the best kale chips at home. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to de-stem your kale. And really there's no need to pull out a cutting board or a knife. Just simply run your fingers down along the stem and strip off the leaf. And don't worry about the small little stems, no biggie. After de-stemming, we're going to tear the leaves up into chips. Now I often see folks tear the leaf down way too small. You're going to want to have pretty big pieces of leaf here. We're going to be doing a two-step process which is going to break down the cellular structure of the leaf, and it's going to reduce quite a bit. So you don't want to tear them down to the actual size chips you want. Instead, try to tear them down to about 4 times as large as the size chip you're looking for. Of course, you're going to have smaller bits in there, no worries about that. That's just one tip I'm going to be offering you today on this recipe. And believe it or not, I'm going to get this whole bowl of greens into this little salad spinner. Alright, so I've now finished up de-stemming and tearing down the leaves. Yes, I did get it all in here. Now we'll just give it a quick spin just to dry it off. And as you can see, there wasn't that much water, but you still want to try to get it all out. Alright, so I've cleaned the bowl, and now I'm going to throw the kale back in and dress it up with some ingredients. So I'm just using 4 simple ingredients. My oil is an avocado coconut blend. You can use any type of oil. I'm also going to be putting in some nutritional yeast powder to give it a nice cheesy flavor, some freshly ground sea salt, and just a half a lemon. Now here's the fun part. There's no exact recipe. Instead, I'm just going to explain to you that you just want to put enough to thoroughly coat all the leaves. And I like to go big on the salt. I really want to go for that potato chip taste. I'm just going to squeeze the lemon through the strainer to catch any seeds. And now for the nutritional yeast. This gives it a really nice cheesy flavor. Use as much or as little of this as you want. And here's a solid tip for you. When it comes to mixing all the ingredients and coating the leaves, what you want to do is really massage and work it in. The combination of the lemon, the oil, and the massaging are going to really break down the cell structure of the leaf, reducing it down in size so you can bake a whole lot more in just one round. And you can see now just how much it's reduced down. And this would be the time to go ahead and give it a try. Make sure you got your seasonings right. I'm calling that good. Now I'll be using a non-stick baking sheet to bake these up in the oven. If you didn't have a non-stick, you may want to put down some parchment paper first. I'm just going to load these on down onto the sheet. And I've seen in other recipes how they'll often advise you to just do a single layer of leaves and not have them touch or pile up on each other. I say go ahead and ignore that advice, pile it on up. You don't want to create a mountain, of course, but you'll see how over the baking time how we get these to thoroughly dry out. A single layer on a standard baking sheet will leave you with about a handful's worth of chips. Alright, so it's looking good. Let's go ahead now and slide these on into our 300-degree preheated oven. And we'll set the timer for 15 minutes. Alright, so it's been 15 minutes. Let's pull these out. You can see how much they've continued to reduce down. Now all we're going to do is just flip these on over, stir them up, mix them up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And after you mix it up really good, spread it on back out, and then we'll throw it back into the oven and set the timer for another 15 minutes. Alright, so it's been 15 more minutes. Let's just check to see where we're at. We've got a nice little crunch going, but it's still a bit soft. So we're going to go ahead and mix this all together, flip it around, and spread it on back out again. And then back on in the oven for another 15 minutes. Alright, so it's been another 15 minutes. Now I'm just going to check it without pulling it out, just reaching in with my spatula. And I can tell we've got a little bit of crunch going, but a little bit of moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for another 15 minutes without stirring it all around. Alright, so the 15 minutes is up, And that is just about perfect right there. Can hear the crunch. Good sized chip. Let me give it a taste for you. Oh yeah. So now I'm just going to go ahead and plate these up. I'm being careful not to break up the chips as I do this. And just look at how much that huge bowl of greens reduced down to make this delicious plate of chips. Now would be the time if you want to add in any more seasonings. I'm just going to put a little bit more nutritional yeast on top for an added cheese flavor. And there you have it, delicious homemade kale chips, a wonderful alternative to greasy, fatty potato chips. And if you've never had a kale chip, you don't know what you're missing. These really do taste almost identical to potato chips when you do it right. I really hope you're able to give this recipe a try. It's a definite winner. And that's going to do it for now. If you enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. New uploads every week. There's a lot more to come.